And now a word from the Awakened Radio sponsors. In 1993, the Einstein College of Medicine patented a blood electrification device to clean the blood of bacteria and virus droplets. The device was just too cheap and effective and was not implemented into standard medical practice in hospitals. See where that patent has led to. Check out forcemagneticpulsar.com. That is pulsar, spelled with an ER, not AR. forcemagneticpulsar.com. Have you taken part in the prosperity game at the Awakened Radio Network? Visit our homepage, awakenedradio.net. Find out how you can win prizes just by exercising your money muscle. A $1 donation gets you in the drawing every month for prizes that will blow your mind. Check out the prosperity game here on the Awakened Radio Network, awakenedradio.net. Are you looking for a way to get your name in print? Well, we have an answer for you here at Awakened Radio Network. We are publishing Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness Magazine the 20th of every month. If you would like to submit an article, poetry, or artwork, please visit our website, awakenedradio.net. Look at the top where it says Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness Magazine. You will find the information on how to submit an article, poetry, or artwork. There are also information there for you to advertise and get the word out in our magazine that reaches thousands of people globally at very affordable rates. Awakened Radio Network and Thrive Evolutionary Consciousness Magazine are working together with you for a win-win for everyone. Success is a lifestyle.
Welcome. You're now tuned in to Your Unfolding Senses on Awakened Radio. I'm your host, Rob Ragozzine. This show is all about opening up to and accessing your full intuitive capabilities with a wide range of topics, including everything from archetypes, chakras and dreams, to numerology and tarot. We also try experiments and exercises you can try at home to help you deepen and explore. The show airs every Thursday night at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, and 7 Pacific. It's brought to you by intuitionbyrob.net, where I offer tips and tools related to show topics. Please enjoy the show and invite your friends. And remember, we're all intuitive. Hello, thanks for tuning in. It's 10 p.m., November 21st, 2013. Welcome to Your Unfolding Senses. I'm Rob Ragozzine, your host, author, and explorer. Your Unfolding Senses is about opening to your inner wisdom, and we're all intuitive. On this show, we talk about the tools and techniques for centering, connecting inward, and learning to truly listen. Tonight, our topic is gratitude. Feel free to call in and ask questions or make comments. You can join us in the chat room by coming to awakenedradio.net and clicking the live chat tab, or join us on the air by adding Awakened Radio to Skype or dialing 334-649-7204. Special thanks to Susan Kern, who was on earlier, for Magical Light Playground, and Donna Devane for Healing Circle. Thanks for tuning in to Awakened Radio. Now, tonight, we'll be talking about gratitude, and I posted about gathering some supplies. So a small mirror, a crystal, your tarot cards, a journal, and, of course, you and a candle. So we're talking about gratitude and looking ahead to 2014 to look at its numerological theme, and that's all about responsibility, change, choice, and reflection. So looking at your life from a reflection point of view and asking, not from a cold, rational perspective, but from a compassionate perspective, asking what's supporting you and what's not, and what needs to go, what can stay, and what's no longer helpful, supportive, or helping you to be the person that you want to be in your life. It doesn't mean you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It means you're taking a look at those things which haven't nurtured you, haven't supported you, and no longer are, and finding a way to either heal them or move past them. And a good card to work with in the tarot is the Chariot. And you might want to ask, what does it speak to you? So you look at the Chariot and see the fact that there's the white horse and the black horse, and one horse is going in one direction and the other horse is going in the other. Well, of course, this depends on what deck you're using. So if you're using the Rider-Waite deck, which is very popular, you will see something different than horses. I believe it's two sphinxes. So to look at 2014 as a time period for choice and between fear and expansiveness. Are you making your choice and your choices based on fear, or are you making them on expanding your life and moving forward? And 2013 was all about compassion and making yourself comfortable in your life and your home, and making it so that your home was inviting to others. In other words, making you as a person, as an individual, welcoming and allowing to other people, to allow them in to meet you. Who are you? And building relationships with these people and truly welcoming them into your life. So it's noticing the pull in 2014 of all of your different needs, but noticing what your heart is calling you towards, and noticing where you are now. It's okay to feel distressed over where you are now versus where your heart calls you towards, but it's not being the victim. It's saying, I can do this. I can move towards where my heart is calling me towards. And it's a great opportunity to look at all of your relationships, personal, business, intimate, all of them, and to notice where you're happy and where you're not. And I'm looking at this from the perspective of what I can release, relationship-wise, and what I can allow to expand and grow in my life. So where can I welcome in more intimate relationships? Where can I release those relationships which are no longer supporting me? Or at least let them be smaller and step into different roles and be bigger and be transforming. And this is, of course, having compassion for yourself. We're not labeling ourselves in any way, shape, or form, and it's being rational and discerning. We're not building a castle in the sky. We're going after, in small steps or steps that are appropriate for you, the dreams that we know in our heart that we can accomplish. If we tell ourselves inside that we can't accomplish something that we're going after, then what's the point? This is about change and transition and truly going after that which we desire. And the opportunity is for you there to believe in yourself and to bring greater clarity into your life. So you might ask your crystal, where can I bring greater clarity into my life so that I know what my heart wants to focus on? So if you have your crystal, we'll do a short meditation with our crystal, and it helps if you light a candle first. So sitting down comfortably and lighting your candle and holding your crystal in one hand, in your right hand. If you want to talk about connect with receiving and allowing, or perhaps in your left hand, if you'd like to focus on opening up to a greater vision, and that way you can bring your right hand to your heart. So connecting inward and imagining your crystal is a person that you can talk to. And you meet your crystal somewhere, perhaps it's outside, perhaps it's just on your couch, and you see your crystal in front of you, and it's a person, and he or she asks you what you'd like to know about. And you say, I'd like to learn about clarity for myself and how that might help me to have more gratitude for my life and step into new and better, more fostering relationships for myself. How can I have relationships which are supportive, and I can be supportive of the people that I'm in a relationship with, so it's mutual. It's a mutual relationship on many different levels. And for me, the answer that I get is simply honesty. So to ask for honesty for myself, and to ask for honesty in all of the relationships that I'm in, and have and feel gratitude for the people that are honest with me. Now, 2013 provided a space for us to connect with our friends and family through the compassion, through connecting with our home lives. 2014 now provides us an opportunity to renew and review all of our relationships. And part of this is to admit that you actually want a relationship with others. So this may touch a tender spot within you. It doesn't matter whether it's intimate, personal, business, or something else. It's likely to touch that. So to have compassion for yourself, to work with your crystal, if it wants to focus in that direction, perhaps it will direct you in another direction. But if you're asking for that, then it should be helping you with that. So to recognize that, oh, I have this crystal, and I can talk with it and ask for its guidance in my relationships, but also know that here again, just like a person, that this crystal has its own needs. So you might smudge it or put it in the sunlight if that's appropriate to give it the re-energy and the energy that it needs. The re-energization, I guess you can call it, to bring life and vitality to it, and maybe find a way to talk with it in your life and to have regular conversations. So to spend time with it, to help it to develop and grow your relationship with it, just like you would any particular person in your life. Since this really is an opportunity to continue deepening your connection to your heart and to compassion from 2013 and step into 2014 with clarity, with vision, with insight and discernment, and question whether or not a particular relationship is healthy and supportive for you, your partner, and those connected to it. So to look at it from the grand scheme of things. Okay, is this relationship good for me Is it good for any particular partner? And is it good for the community if it's involving more people as a whole? Maybe it's helpful for one or two people, but not everyone. So to look at how you can help that. How can you grow that? Just don't bring blame to the situation and say, oh, it's broken. Ask, how can you heal it? And that might be a choice that you have to make. And if you feel confident and comfortable in the relationship, then to look at how you express gratitude for the relationship. When was the last time you said, thank you, you helped me in this relationship? Even if it was for something simple, like smiling at you, or just being a good friend. So noticing what you're grateful for. And last week or the week before, we talked about having a special object, like a memento, and noticing what the personal meaning is for you with that memento, what memories it helps you connect with and remember, and not stuffing that in a box or in a closet somewhere, but to actually display it somewhere. So when you see it, you smile, and you connect with your gratefulness. Now, if you have whatever you want to call it, your altar or your special space, then you can have those on there along with artwork or talismans or photographs or stones and crystals or candles. All of that can be there, and the various pieces can help you connect to your memories and to your gratefulness and to develop more gratitude in your life. And that can help you to expand your heart and step into expansiveness just by being in that space with them, and to spend regular time there and to cultivate it, to grow it, to nurture it, and it will nurture you back. I just put a shell, a big conch shell, on my altar, and not surprisingly, it's really neat that I couldn't find it in my usual shopping spaces online, so I went to eBay, and it was a little more than I wanted, but I bought it and put it on the altar, and then 2 days later, I won $100. So open up to the possibility that these objects want to connect with you. They want to help you be expansive, and just notice how that works. But of course, be discerning. Don't go out and buy 1,000,000 pairs of shoes because you want to be expansive. And you could simply put plants or flowers or other things on your altar, or the I Ching or the runes or the tarot, or just little quotes or pictures of events that you've attended with friends and partners, and that will definitely help you to step into expansiveness when you connect with the overall sense of gratitude that it can help you to build within your life. And when you begin to share your life with others, you're helping them to connect more deeply to gratitude themselves. And since we're coming up to some major changes of season, now's a good time to connect with those objects that help you to experience more gratitude, because you can celebrate and commemorate around the end of the year, around the various holidays that we're celebrating now, especially Thanksgiving, which is coming up next week. And a simple step to connect to greater gratitude, as I mentioned earlier, is simply saying thank you. And it's a way to say, having some sort of ritual to celebrate or commemorate the change of the season or the holiday, is simply to say thank you to yourself. So to put your stones on your altar in a particular pattern, and that can help you to connect more deeply to their energy and what you aspire to by having them in the first place. It's not just putting them in a box and taking them out once a year and saying, oh, pretty, they're very pretty. It's connecting to whatever it is that they represent for you. Now, next week is Thanksgiving, and I want to talk a little bit about Black Friday because it's attached to that, and this year several stores are even opening up all day on Thanksgiving, and supposedly it's where the point in the year when the profits from the stores go from a loss to profit, so from red to black. But who knows, since they're now opening up a day earlier, and in a few years they'll probably be 2 or 3 days ahead, maybe even the whole weekend ahead, where it's the whole weekend. Now, there's nothing wrong, of course, with making money. It's simply energy at some point anyway. So we're talking about really being grateful for this. And if you see the images coming out of that particular day, it's really not about gratitude at all. It's about I must have, I have to have, I need that, and stampedes of people. And well, I've talked about my gadgets in my books before, so I'm not saying immune to that, but I found that giving away my books helps me to feel a lot better, and I can collect ebooks, which are wonderful because I actually remember to read them, and I remember that I have them. So it's really, for me, to connect to that is to not be in the position to say, oh, I have to have this. It's, I'd like to read this. I'm grateful for this author and the exploration that they undertake in this book. And so the day really is portrayed as when all the stores have super bargains, and so now we're pushing buttons inside of ourselves that are tender spots that we're finding difficult to resist. We need to have it. We have to shop till we drop. So a good option here is to simply go back to gratitude and feel into where it is in your life. Do you need that $20 TV? And to feel gratitude for the TV that you already have, or the radio that you already have, and perhaps instead of shopping, to go out and connect with friends or do something. I'm not saying it's wrong or not to do it. I'm saying to look at from the energy that you're stepping into and where the gratitude is in that day. And when it starts on Thanksgiving, if you were previously going to spend time with family, especially in the States, then to look at where the gratefulness is for your family, for the connections you have with them, for the relationships you have with them, and to begin to question, is shopping really important to me? Is it more important than my family? And to begin to question that, and then to wait for the answer. And maybe the answer is that it is that shopping's important and that you want to find something for your family, but I impel you to have some compassion for yourself and spend a little more time looking at the question and just looking at it from the vantage point of the time spent with them versus the whole year. So here it is, one day that you might be spending with them, and is it that important that you go out that day? Because I'm sure there'll be other sales. And perhaps you could make them something, or to simply talk about. That could be something that you can do, to simply talk about the event with your family and say, you know, I saw that ad on TV, and I'd really like to get that gizmo thing. And then you can have an honest conversation with them and say, you're not less important than the gizmo, but it's really calling me right now. And maybe you do go get it. Or maybe you have a conversation where you're really honest with them, and they say, you're much more important to me than some gizmo, and I'd like to simply have a cup of tea with you today after we have dinner. And maybe we can talk about something that's important in our lives versus watching the football game, and to develop a new family tradition. Maybe the new family tradition is to play a game together. Maybe it's to actually go out and walk out in nature with your family during the day. Whatever it is, maybe it's to look at the flyers and to laugh at all the things that you feel compelled to buy and say, oh, I was going to buy that, but now I recognize that's silly, or that I'm still going to buy it. Whatever. You can just have a conversation and clip out the pictures of the things that you'd like to buy eventually, but spend time with your family just talking about that. I'd like to get this, and maybe eventually you'll realize that it's not important. It's more important to be with those you love and want to spend time with. And I'm not messing with your football games or getting some great super bargains. Go ahead and get them, but also learn to recognize what your heart is really calling for. Maybe all year your heart's calling for to get out of work and go spend time with your family, and then this one day that you have time to spend with your family, you decided that, no, I'm going to go buy something. I'm going to go buy a new big TV. And why is that? To start to question why you're doing the things that you're doing, and this connects deeply to the shadow. So maybe you're not getting along with your family, but you're stuffing it all inside. So to begin to recognize that it's important to deal with these issues, and it's not through shopping and spending money, but it's to have honest conversations with your family, to get quiet, to be still, to recognize that there's more important things in your life, and those could be your family. And if it's not your family, maybe it's simply your friends or other people that you're connected to. Now we're coming up on a break, and I'd like to hear your stories if you'd like to talk about them. So please do call us when we get back to the break, and I'll give those numbers out now. That's 334-649-7204, or at Awakened Radio to Skype, or simply come to our chat room by coming to awakenedradio.net and clicking on the live chat room tab and type it into the chat room about your experience, and we'll talk about it. And I didn't plan to spend as much time here as I have talking about the Black Friday, but it's got some juice for me, some passion, I guess. So I'll continue to talk about that when we get back. But for now, be sure to remember to go look for a candle and a small mirror if you have them available. But if not, that's okay. You might not get to that, but just to have it available. And of course, your tarot deck and your journal. And write down any feelings, any memories that came up for you while I was talking about Black Friday and while you were talking about your crystal. And if you had any powerful revelations, you might also call in to talk about that. So please do stay tuned and come back to talk about this. Thanks.
We'll get you sleeping through the fight and life for all us open.
At Awakened Radio Network, we're all about success. We know that working together is the perfect way for all of us to live the success lifestyle. That's what it is. It's a lifestyle. And to help our listeners move into 2014 knowing that they can live this life, we're opening up our airwaves to some of the best lifestyle teachers anywhere in the world. A day-long event where you, as the speaker, are spotlighted by our station manager, Donna Devane, the Barefoot Guru, who knows how to guide you to your best sharing. Check out our website and get all the details at awakenedradio.net. Look on the tab where it says Success 2014. Perhaps you and your message would be perfect for our December 1st, 2013 speaker event, where we give people the tools to do more than wish. We empower them to live success. I'd like to invite you to add Awakened Radio to your Skype or email Donna Devane at awakenedradio@gmail.com to find out more about this 9-hour speaker event. Let Donna Devane help you share your message of healing, personal empowerment, success, whatever it is that you're passionate about. This is the perfect opportunity for you to share with our listeners all around the world, December 1st, 2013, where we help people to do more than wish. We're going to give them the tools to live success. Join us, Awakened Radio, at awakenedradio.net.
Welcome. You're now tuned in to Your Unfolding Senses on Awakened Radio. I'm your host, Rob Ragozzine. This show is all about opening up to and accessing your full intuitive capabilities, with a wide range of topics, including everything from archetypes, chakras and dreams, to numerology and tarot. We also try experiments and exercises you can try at home to help you deepen and explore. The show airs every Thursday night at 10 Eastern, 9 Central, 8 Mountain, and 7 Pacific. It's brought to you by intuitionbyrob.net, where I offer tips and tools related to show topics. Please enjoy the show and invite your friends. And remember, we're all intuitive. Okay, we're back, and we're talking about gratitude and Black Friday, and we had a crystal experiment exercise before in the show, and Donna would like to talk about her realization. So Donna, what did you experience?
Well, I used a amethyst seer stone, and as I was looking into it and asking the questions that you were guiding us through, I saw like a vine, going up, and under the vine, at first I thought it was a tree, and I went, no, that's a vine. And under the vine, at the bottom of the vine, were like awakened people that had just come out of slumber, that had just been woken up. And up at the top of the vine were birds. There was one that said it was a hummingbird and another that was a hawk. And what I got was that which I've been holding in and holding back is moving upward to join with joy and freedom.
Those are messengers of spirit.
Yeah.
So what does that mean for you?
Well, for me, I've been going through this process of how much of Donna to hold back and how much of Donna to let people. Yeah. And for me, it was like a confirmation that, I'm right on with that. Keep doing what I'm doing. Hummingbird always reminds me of joy, and when I see a red-tailed hawk, that's always a reminder that I've been heard. That whatever question I've been asking, it's been heard and it's been accepted, acknowledged by Creator. And letting go of those parts that I've held in so long, I get the overall feeling that keep doing what you're doing. This is exactly where you need to be right now.
That's what I'm talking about for 2014 here. Yeah. It's being expansive, reviewing your decisions, and moving forward. Really. Yeah. It's letting go of the stuff that's holding you back.
Yeah.
So, good job.
Good exercise.
Okay. All right. So we're talking about Black Friday here and having gratitude. And what I'd like to finish up with there is to look at thinking about the things that you haven't used in months or years and begin to question, well, do I need these things anymore? And I've been going through a decluttering exercise for a little while now, and I have some boxes and some books that are still left over, and I don't know if I'm going down to 0 books, but looking at what fits and what doesn't. Previously I'd like to call it more books than shelves. So it's freeing up some space and seeing what comes in and welcoming it. And to question, am I grateful for the things that I have? And do you have gratitude for their usefulness to you? So if something is, I'm not saying don't go out and get the expensive TV, because maybe you'll be really, really grateful for it and spend a lot of time with it, with your family, and you might get into video games and play countless games with your family members. And I have one that brings me great joy called, what is it? I don't know, Borderlands. And it's got all these crazy little creatures and guys that come up and laugh at you. So I just find it very, really humorous. Obviously, it's not appropriate for everyone, but it helps me to connect with my joy and my expansiveness. So anyway, nothing is wrong. We're not saying that it's bad to buy something. We're saying to look at gratitude and where it's appropriate to use it, to connect with it in your life. And how can you connect with it if you're not connected to your true feelings and you're stuffing your feelings, as we were talking about the shadow earlier? So to begin to at least question, well, do I need this? And if the answer is not in this moment, to wait a little bit and come back to it. And maybe you'll come to some conclusions and have greater clarity around whatever it is later on. So it's truly honoring your feelings. And meditation, when a feeling comes up, you'll pay attention to it and breathe into it. Name it. Like saying, oh, this is anger, or this is happiness, or this is doubt. And then beginning to experience it in the moment when you get to be a better meditator. So if you really want to deal with your feelings, start meditating. If you're not meditating, ask why. And we're not judging what's coming up. It's normal to have feelings. It's okay. We're not stuffing it anymore, and that creates problems when we stuff it. So when the feeling comes up in our meditation, and I've talked about this in past shows, and I also have this in the store, this exact meditation. It's the breathing awareness meditation. You can connect with it, and I also have the words for it on my site, so you can also use that there. It's becoming aware of what we're experiencing, noticing and observing, and then letting it go. It's that simple. It doesn't have to be hard. And if you do need to go and actually express it, go and find some way or some method to do that. Maybe it's finding a support group or a counselor. Go do that. Video games, for me, as I was just talking about, are a great way to do a little venting, and I love the strange ones. And maybe you like the puzzle games. I think it was called Portal. That was a really fun one, and it really made me think, because you had to find, there wasn't really any violence. You had to find your way. Well, there was violence, I guess. You had to find your way out of different rooms, and most of it was aligning the holes which you created to come out in a safe exit. So to notice how you can connect to your feelings, how you can connect to the things that bring expansiveness and pleasure. And that might be through creating art, or cooking, or gardening, or playing video games, whatever it is. Don't think of it as just a hobby, just some time waster. It's a way to connect with your joy, with your passion, and have gratitude for that experience, because it's helping you to be human and be expansive. It's not wasting time and letting it fritter away. It's seeing that you're human and spending time doing things that are expansive. And have a comment in the chat room that talks about asking for courage for the future, for 2014. So just the fact that you typed that there is an example of having courage. So to recognize that and be proud of it. Now, there's a lot of great books about the shadow I was talking about before, and really it's helping you to avoid a pressure cooker type of situation where you just explode and hurt yourself and hurt other people. And Debbie Ford, who just passed away this past year, and Brew Joy have excellent books. And her book is Dark Side of the Light Chasers, and his book is Avalanche. So allow yourself to feel your emotions without judgment. And again, one thing that's definitely helped me is the breathing meditation, where I'm naming the emotions, the things that are coming up, and then to notice where that is in my life and what's causing that issue. And it's normal to feel a range of feelings. So to recognize that, and don't label that as silly or stupid or whatever. Just say, I'm human. And it's okay to go scream at your TV if your football team is losing and you're having fun. Go do that. As long as you're not annoying the neighbors, that's great. It's just noticing and paying attention to what's bringing you joy, what's helping you to connect to passion and excitement. And it's really about believing in yourself. It goes back to that, believing in yourself. And one show that I didn't get a chance to talk about last week when I was talking about this is Once Upon a Time. And there's an episode called Ariel, and Once Upon a Time is a show where they take all the old myths and fairy tales and put them in a blender and mix them up. And the different characters can travel to different stories, different realms. And this year they're traveling through Neverland. So Peter Pan isn't this benevolent character. He's sort of this dark, otherworldly character who nobody really knows what his ultimate goal is, but that's not the main story here. In the Ariel episode, there's something called the Cave of Echoes, and the family that goes in, basically it's almost one small family. There's the stepmom, the mom, the father, the grandfather of this one small boy who Peter Pan, who has kidnapped. Peter Pan's kidnapped their son, so they're on a journey to go and rescue him from Peter Pan. But the young father, has been captured, and he's in the Cave of Echoes. In order to get to him and get him out of the cage that he's in, they have to extend the bridge across the Cave of Echoes to where the cage is. But they have to connect to their shadow and tell the truth out loud inside the Cave of Echoes. Each person has to tell their own truth. So they'll have to say something. Now, they're all caught in their own drama, of course. So this is one moment when they must step out of that and really communicate to one another and face their shadow. And it's their most deepest secret that they haven't told anybody about, but everyone, of course, already knows that secret. They just don't think that they do. So this is showing that it's important to acknowledge your shadow, and when each person tells their part of their truth, a chink of the bridge appears. So this stone bridge appears, chink, and then the next person tells their story, and the bridge grows longer until finally it connects to this little island out in the middle of the cave that's in the air floating somehow. But in the end, the name of the show is Once Upon a Time, and it's, like I said, a mishmash of all the different fairy tales and myths. And ultimately, so the one person that can help the father of the family escape thinks she can just hack at the cage and open it up when she finally gets to it, but then she's told by the guy in the cage, the father, that this isn't the way it works. He understands how it works. So she has to tell her truth, and her truth is that she didn't think any of this, extending the bridge and coming to help them escape, would work at all. So she didn't believe in the abilities of the group. She didn't believe in herself. So it's really coming to a realization. It's a great story that shows that it's important to believe in yourself, and it's important to be able to see the truth and talk about it. So the family each had to tell the truth, and ultimately they had to face the point that it wouldn't be pointless, because now they're reunited and they can go save their son and their stepson. And that's the end of the story. The beginning of the story is that the boy is the one believer because he has a book about all the myths, and when you read the book, it has pictures of various people in the story and various people he meets, and he says, oh, you're one of the 7 dwarves, or you're Snow White, and he understands who all the characters are within this story, but none of the characters originally understood who they were, because the Wicked Queen cast a spell and brought them all to Storybrooke. So it's a really long and complicated story. You'll have to start at the beginning, but this one episode called Ariel is a good one, and it includes these characters as well as Ariel from The Little Mermaid, who's now, I don't know, grown up some. So go watch it if you can find it. It's on Hulu, it's on Amazon, and various other sites. And it really helps to connect to the shadow when you see the truths that they're telling. It means addressing your feelings and having gratitude, especially to those who you're in relationship with. If you can't tell the truth, here's the ultimate part of it. If you can't tell the truth to the people that you're closest to, who can you? Now, I talked about the tarot earlier. Oh, yes, we have in the chat room, you can feel empathy for the Queen, and you can see yourself in all the characters. And the Queen and Rumpelstiltskin are my favorite characters, and I see myself in those 2 characters in the show. You might see yourself in other characters. I don't like the Snow White character, but let's move on to the tarot card. And I'm going to invite you to shuffle your deck and pick a card that represents gratitude. So ask yourself to be shown a card, one single card that represents gratitude in your life. And I'll give you a few moments to shuffle your deck and pull that particular card. And I did this earlier, and the card that I pulled was the Two of Wands. So for me, this card represents having the power in my hands, but what am I waiting for? And the next question that came up is, what can I go out and greet with open arms? What's my heart opening to? What's the passion? And this involves, for me, exploring the expansiveness, because in the Rider-Waite deck, which I use for this exercise, we have a character. I always see this character as a king, and he's holding a wand in one hand, and the world in another, and another wand is right beside him, and he's looking out across his empire out into the ocean or a lake or something. I always see it as a vast ocean, and he's going out and conquering. That's the story I tell. But you might tell a different story. And for me, this card connects to passion, because the wands usually represent passion, excitement, being dynamic, and really it helps me to connect with those qualities. So where's the passion is the great question. So once you have your card, you'll want to explore it by perhaps setting aside some quiet time to talk with the characters on the card. Why, you can ask them, why are you here? Or ask for a dream related to your card. Or perhaps you can dress up like the character in the card, put yourself in a scene, and then journal your answers. And I invite you to work with this for a week or so until we come back. And next week is Thanksgiving, so you can work with this for 2 weeks. And some other questions that you might ask in relation to the Once Upon a Time story is, am I being honest with myself and others? Can I allow myself to be honest? What is my heart yearning for? And am I listening to my heart? So all these characters have their own hopes and dreams, yet they put them aside in their quest to go after this one small boy in the story, who they're all tangentially related to. We have the stepmom who adopted the boy, we have the mother who gave him up, and the father who never knew he existed, so on and so forth. So to use this to connect with yourself, your shadow, your passion, and see how you might begin to expand and allow yourself to be seen in your relationships, and allow for greater honesty in your relationships. Now, I was thinking about, I have a question here in the chat room, a couple of them. I'm not sure what the first one says, something about the girl who didn't believe in herself. Oh, I guess you saw yourself in one of the characters. That's great. Now we have someone else that said, if you don't have a deck, yes, there's plenty of sites on the internet that can let you pull a card, and there's even some that give you the meaning of the cards, both reversed and straight up. And I don't really like the reversed meanings. I'll read them, but I figure I'm going to read both meanings regardless of whether I'm going to get the card straight up or not, and use it to ask all sorts of questions about the true meaning of the card for me in the moment, and it depends on the position of the card. But since we're really only drawing one, that doesn't really matter. But I guess we have to draw 3 here on the site. But you can do that, and that'll give you a greater way to explore. So drawing 3 cards, you can say, this is my past, this is my present, this is my future. And look at it from that vantage point to see perhaps what's most welcoming and where you can allow more gratitude into your life in the future, perhaps where you might have not done so in the past, and what's helping you in the present. And wow, I didn't realize I spent so much time talking about gratitude today, and Black Friday. So I welcome you to spend some time between now and next week connecting inward and asking yourself about gratitude and exploring what your heart is yearning for, and perhaps noticing the tender spots in your life to see if perhaps purchasing something next week is covering up a tender spot, and perhaps if you do notice that, to say, well, how can I heal this tender spot and bring compassion in, and instead focusing on your relationships and those things that can bring more gratitude and more honesty into your life. So that'll be a great way to explore differently than you perhaps normally would. We're ending the show in a few minutes, so I'd like to remind you that Awakened Radio is largely host and listener supported, so we do have a new button on our main page that says help us make magic happen, and it's a little magic hat with money pouring into it or out of it, and the donate button below it, and I encourage you to click that and help us to grow and expand. And please find it in your heart to donate as much as you can. We're not asking for your grocery money, so $1 or $5 would be great if that's all you have. But we're not, again, we're simply asking to find a way to help us grow a little. Now, if you'd like to sponsor this show or another show, you can provide us with a 30-second ad, and we'll play it at the start, middle, and end of the show. And then when the show is archived, it remains, and our shows play at least 4 times a month, so your ad will be played 12 times a month. So it's a great time and opportunity to advertise your business with us as we grow and expand. You can grow and expand along with us. And you can also come to the Awakened Radio store and purchase a stoner crystal and other things that Donna has created. I was just in there looking for some amethyst and some other types of crystals, and she has plenty of different crystals, including tourmaline, which can help you to deal with a lot of shadow aspects. So I welcome you to explore that as well. So thanks for listening tonight, and tune in next week or the week after for another episode of Your Unfolding Senses. Thank you for listening.
'Cause we're awakened, you won't catch us sleeping through the fight in life. We're all eyes open, showing our inside and light so bright. We are awakened.